Hey guys, it's Rachel with Sons of Tempo, Corso. I am getting an oil change on my truck, and I've got Preacher and Midnight here working on Midnight's socialization. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. We didn't bring Blondie because Blondie she doesn't really have like a need to bark and get aggressive with people or things. She's much more just the kind of sit and watch type, and Midnight needs a little help with that, and so we've been working with her on it. And as you can see, she's watching the people that are in there, who are watching her. And dogs don't like it whenever people stare at them, especially if they just stare. If they don't show any emotion, then that really bothers them. Because a stare in the wild is oftentimes taken as a sign of a threat or even a sign of dominance. So maintaining a very direct stare with a dog is not a good idea if you are trying to make friends with that dog. So you can see Preacher's totally chill. He doesn't care, but she's watching. We got people walking through, and she's just watching. But as you notice, she's not barking. We got people walking up. She just watches. Hey, girl. It's good that we have Preacher here with her as well, because she can kind of read off his energy and his response. So the fact that he's not worried is going to help a lot with her confidence and her ability to just sit back and observe the situation instead of feeling like she needs to act in some way. And Preacher's been here enough times that he doesn't care. He's not even worried. But if you notice, Velocity, I can't believe I just called her that. That's what happens when you have as many dogs as me. You'll notice that Midnight is actually staring in the direction of the people who just sat down. Which, like I've said before, is awesome. I love the fact that she is a very protective dog. She's, true to her breed type. She's watching, observing, and that will give her a very good eye in the future for how to deal with things. She'll know what's normal and what's not normal. And she'll be more like Preacher right here, where you don't even know they're watching. They're so quietly observant that you don't even notice that they're even watching you, but they always are. They're always watching. Midnight, what are you doing? What you doing, girl? Midnight. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Who's a cutie? This is a cutie. Who's a cutie? Who's a cutie? Here, let me help you. They're loosen you up some. Who did they loosen you up some? Preacher has been so good about not being jealous of the puppies. I love it. He's a really good guy. He's a good dad. And you're a good baby. So that person just sat back down and she's watching. But as you notice, there's no barking, which is what we want. You're a good boy. Was a good boy, preacher. Yeah, good baby. And so you'll see how this guy came in and he didn't say anything to us, but he was talking to the woman at the counter, and then he walked away. So he didn't come sit down, so it was a new kind of behavior for her to watch from him, because the other people came and sat down. So that's one pattern. And then people walking through across the back, that's another pattern. But then this other guy came in and he walked over to where the drinks are over here, and then he walked out. And so if you notice, when somebody does something that is new, that's like a different kind of behavior, she'll pay attention to that. She'll observe that. And those kinds of things matter. Because, for example, you know, if I had a person that came in here like we did at the vet the other, I guess it was a couple months ago, we went to the vet and there was an old guy with a walker, and Preacher had never seen anybody use a walker before, so he initially growled, and I corrected him. I made him lay down and I made him sit and watch, and sure enough, he realized that it was a human and it was okay, and the guy's not a threat, and that was a learning experience for him. But the reason why he alerted in the first place because it was a new pattern of movement, and these dogs pay attention to that. They pay attention to patterns of movement. You got something in your eye. Got an eye booger. We even have a guy standing over here, and she's totally fine with it. Well on her way to being just like Preacher. Even though she initially showed lots of, you know, what some people would call aggressive tendencies, but I don't see it that way. It's protection instinct. It's fearlessness and protection instinct. You know, she didn't know who they were, and she wanted to make sure that they understood that they needed to stay away from us. She just didn't realize that it wasn't necessary. And so we just teach her. So you have this guy. You can see how much she's watching. All these people she's watching and observing. You know, she's not sitting here just ignoring everything. She's watching everyone. She's learning, processing her environment. And that's what socialization is proper socialization is, you know, not just taking them out and introducing them to other people and other things. You have to show them the right way to interact with the world. That's the other part of it. So you got to correct them when they do things wrong, like barking at people, and then reward them when they do the right things. And that's how you make sure that the dog is socialized. It's not just taking them out. It's taking them out and teaching them to have manners and be respectful and how to operate in the world around them. See another guy walking through. She observes, she watches, but she's cool. And that's how it is. That's how easy it is. If you do this stuff when they're young, you don't have to do it when they're older. Keep that in mind. It's a lot easier to do when they're young and small than it is when they're big and powerful.